Hi everybody, this is Kefren, your favorite French Canadian. Today I'm going to show you how to boost your FPS and Human. We're going to start by optimizing Windows and NVIDIA control panel, and after that we're going to go inside of the game. So now for Windows, we're going to start by writing settings, and we're going to go to the settings of Windows 11. We're going to start by gaming over there. So the first one is game bar. This one I really recommend to deactivate it. It's causing issue and also you're losing some FPS with it. Except if you have a Ryzen CPU, the 7900X3D or the 7950X3D, they're using the game bar to prioritize your CCD when you're playing video games. So super important to use that if you have those processors. If you have any other processor, just deactivate it. After that, we're going to go to graphic. We're going to change default graphic setting over there. Make sure that your hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is at on. Super important to do that. We're going to go to gaming again, capture, make sure that everything is deactivated like this. So you want to save all your resources. And the last one is game mode. Now game mode honestly is really good. Back then with Windows 10, it was a bit sketchy and a lot of like stuttering issue, but now you really need to using it to make sure that all your resources are prioritizing your video games. Another thing that I recommend, we're going to go to system, is your power. Back then, we were recommending to use the best performance, but now, honestly, just use balance. You will have better boost clock, longer boost clock. I did a couple of benchmark, balance versus best performance, and honestly, I'm getting better result with balance. So super important to do that. Another thing I want to mention is some recommendations. So make sure that your XMP profile is activated if you have it on your BIOS. Super important. Make sure that you download the latest chipset driver for your CPU if you have an AMD or Intel. Also, make sure that you update your BIOS to make sure that you have all the latest update from your CPU or your motherboard provider. Make sure that you have your Windows update up to date. And the last one is also make sure that you have the latest driver from your GPU. So if you have an NVIDIA card, Radeon, or Intel, super important. They always push new update and they optimize a lot of stuff in it. So now let's go to the NVIDIA app. The first thing that I want to recommend, I'm not a huge fan, honestly, of the overlay. So NVIDIA overlay, I really recommend to deactivate this one. Sometimes it's causing issue like stuttering, you're losing some FPS with it. So I really recommend to deactivate it. Also, we're gonna go to the control panel. I'm gonna show you some optimization that you can do. So we're gonna go to the manage 3D setting first. So the first thing that you should definitely activate it is your low latency mode. Make sure this one is at on. Another thing that I recommend is your power management mode. This one, pretty much the same thing than the one from Windows. Make sure that you're using normal. Don't use the maximum performance. I'm getting also better boost clock, more FPS with it. And the last one is your shader cache size. By default, your cache will be driver default like this. And normally it's 4 gig. I recommend to start with 10 if you don't have a lot of space on your computer. And if you have a lot of space, go with 100 gig. Honestly, it's a game changer for your cache size. You're going to struggle less with stuttering and also that your game need to recompile and stuff like that. If you install a lot of game, this one can be very good for you. Now let's go to change resolution. The last one, really important to make sure that first of all that you're selecting the monitor, that first of all you're using the native resolution of your monitor, and also super important to have a proper refresh rate over there. By default, sometimes when you just change your monitor, it will be at 60 Hertz. So depending on the type of monitor that you buy, 144, 240, make sure that you're selecting this one. This option also, you can change it on Windows or your Radeon driver if you have a Radeon card, so no problem with that. The last one is your G-Sync. If you want to activate your G-Sync, really important to select the monitor. It needs to be compatible and you will enable over there. I'm not using G-Sync me. I always unlock my FPS because I want the lowest input lag. But if you don't like those steering line, definitely activate your G-Sync over there. So now let's go back to the game. So now inside of the game, so the first one that we want to change, it's in mouse and gameplay. Screen shake intensity, this one we want to put it at 0, less noise when you're playing the game. Also you have the camera distance, it's kind of an FOV, you're playing this game in third person mode. So if it's higher, you're gonna see like further in front of you, but if you put more camera distance, you will see that you're gonna lose some FPS. So really question of preference over there. So we're gonna go to video. So the first thing that I want to mention is I'm gonna show you which parameter will provide you the most of your FPS, but also they can affect a lot your image quality. So it really depends on what's your goal. Do you just want 60 FPS? Do you want 240 or whatever? So just personalize it as you want. So display mode, I really recommend to go full screen. You're gonna have better FPS, less input lag. Resolution, make sure that you're playing native depending on your monitor. Don't lower your resolution, the game will look very blurry. So 1440p in my case because of my monitor. We're gonna go in performance, start it at mid like this, and after that max frame rate. I just unlock my FPS to have the most of FPS and also the lowest input lag. I have a 240 Hz monitor, and they don't have also this option. You just have 3 bracket. The max is 120, so if you need more, just unlock this. Texture quality, honestly, 4 gig and more of VRAM, you should be fine at high, and less than 4 gig, go with low. It's pretty weird, you don't have like 4 bracket over there. Render scale, I recommend to go 100. Don't lower it. Yes, it's gonna optimize your FPS, but honestly, the game looks very blurry if you go under like 90. So just stay at 100. Anti-aliasing, I recommend low. You have 3 bracket over there. You're gonna save like 2 to 3% for each bracket. And honestly, the game looks very blurry at mid and high, so that's why I recommend to go with low. You don't have any upscaling technique for now in the game, so no DLSS, no FSR. Shade, I recommend to go with, low over there. It's your shadow level. Here you have like an 8% difference, so it's pretty huge. So this one, definitely go low. VFX, I like to play at mid. You're getting a nice image quality over there with the VFX at mid, because honestly, high and very high, they tank your performance. At medium, it's not that bad. You're gonna lose like 3 to 4%. At low, you're gonna lose 2, and very low, like 1%. So it really depends on what type of computer. If you're really struggling to run the game, like go with low or very low, but majority of the people can run this one at mid. Draw distance, in those kind of game, you kind of like to play at middle. Honestly, low is very near in front of you, what you can see, so middle is my recommendation. VSync, I always disable VSync to have the lowest input lag possible, but you can use G-Sync or FreeSync from Radeon if you don't like that. Motion blur, I recommend to disable. Too much noise, honestly, when you're playing motion blur. And any game, I always disable motion blur. Vegetation density, you can save high to mid a nice 3 to 4% over there, and mid to low it's like 1 to 2%, so medium is a good balance honestly in this game. And the last one, detail, go with low. You can expect 5% boost in your FPS. So this is pretty much my guide, guys, for Human. If you have any questions, just go in the YouTube section, post me your rig, CPU, GPU, and RAM. I will try to help you the best that I can. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace.